Getting your massage business featured in newspapers, magazines, on radio, and on the TV can be a great way to build credibility, authority, and awareness of your massage business. It can also help to attract new clients, helps to build trust around your business, or it can be useful in helping attract great talent to your team and a lot more benefits. However, many small businesses don't have the budget to hire a PR firm to do this for them, to get featured in media outlets, because that is what large businesses typically do. They hire expensive PR firms and they get them into these publications that you see online. But in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process how you can do it yourself and get all that exposure in local media outlets for free. Okay, because that is the really cool thing about this is, yes, I'm a big fan of paid advertising to bring clients into my massage business, but getting publicity like this in the local outlets is free, okay? And it reaches a lot of people. And once you get the hang of it, you can do this over and over again, and it gets easier, and you build relationships with journalists and they get you in more often. It's pretty cool. Our local businesses, which have been a gym and now a massage salon, have been in our local newspaper multiple times. And it's a lot simpler than you think once you get the hang of it. Like I said, journalists are constantly looking for news articles, okay? They need to put articles in their papers, magazines, on TV every day. And if you can write your press releases correctly and reach out to them in the correct way, in the right angle, which I'll show you how to do, it's very easy to get in. Okay, let's get started. Step one is figuring out your goal. Why do you want to get into these outlets? Is it to mainly just build awareness? Is it to attract clients? Is it to attract staff? Sometimes it doesn't really matter. All press is good press, but if you have a specific goal, you need to take that into account before you write your press release and map out the rest of your plan. Okay, step two is deciding the angle of your press release, okay? So when choosing a newsworthy angle, your press release needs to answer the question of, why should my audience care about this, okay? And why would the news outlet care? How is this story I want to share, how is it news, okay? Because you have to create some kind of news article around your business or something that happened in your business that is going to get people interested and journalists interested. Okay, don't assume journalists are interested in your business for no reason, okay? They're interested in publishing a story that their readers are going to find valuable. Okay, so it can be things like if you launch a product or a new service, your audience might find that interesting because maybe no one else is offering that and it might solve a problem no one else is solving. The other examples of stories that you can use can be very broad and cover things like a new renovation or expansion in your business. Okay, we've done that. It could be a charity drive that you're doing. We've done that. It could be you're moving into a new location. We've done that. Okay, we did that when we expanded and moved to a new 7-room massage clinic location from our 2-room clinic. It can be a community initiative. We've done that. It can be a special sale or offer that you're doing that benefits people in need. It could be receiving an award. Okay, we've done that. We've got in the paper for that. It could be hiring a new team member. And for bonus points, you can focus your angle on a current issue in the news if possible. Okay, I'll post some examples from press that we have got in newspapers. Okay, we have one for a charity drive that we did at our gym. We have one for an award that we've won. We've had one for our expansion, like I mentioned. Once you've done all that, okay, you need to write a press release. I'm going to give you exactly what you need to include in your press release, and then I'm going to give you a screenshot of a template of a press release, which you can see how it looks. Okay, so you'll need to include a headline, a subheadline, okay, which grabs people's attention and clearly explains what the press release is about. It needs to include a location of where you are and where the news is taking place. It needs to have a strong lead or intro to the press release. Okay, this is where you'll explain quickly your newsworthy content in one sentence. And then you need to have a body of text. Okay, this should be easily skimmable for the journalists. It needs to provide in decreasing levels of importance. Okay, so the most important things at the top. It is a very good idea to add in quotes throughout the body to back up your arguments, also bulleted facts and figures if relevant about your news story that you want covered. Next is the boilerplate. It's just a few words describing your company to the audience. And at the bottom is a press contact. Okay, typically if you run a small business, it's the person your journalist can contact for more information, typically you, how they can get in contact with you, name, email address, phone number, etc. Because they are going to want to call you to interview you to get more information if they're interested in the story. And at the end, you just need 3 hashes, which you can see how it all looks in the example. As you're putting this together, you need to think like a journalist and offer the resources that they need to craft a valuable and interesting story to their audiences. Finally, to the same end, offer multimedia resources and links that the journalists can use to increase engagement with the story that they're writing. I just want to take a second to ask you for a small favor. If you're finding this video helpful, if you could just tap the like button underneath it, I'd be really grateful. That will tell the YouTube algorithm to share this video with more massage therapists around the world. And hopefully that will help them all earn more income, which is what they deserve. Thanks for helping. The next step is to decide who you want to reach. Okay, what audience are you trying to reach? Is it a specific type of audience? Is it men? Is it women? Or is it just people in general? Or is it specific athletes or anything like that? Okay, in general with massage, right, I've found that your audience, unless you're really specialized, okay, with massage, your audience is anyone, okay, or most people have problems, obviously, like stress or body issues. But when you're looking to reach your audience, any general publication works, okay? Any general TV station, magazine, newspaper, they will cover your audience. Your audience reads the basic general outlets. One thing I will say is when you're researching and looking for the publications and outlets that you want to get your news article featured in, I would suggest starting with the smaller outlets, okay? So if you live in a big city, for example, like just say you live in New York or LA or Chicago or whatever, you have newspapers that cover the whole city, right? But you also have separate little weekly or less frequent newspapers or magazines that come out that just kind of focus on one area of the city. You might have local news outlets or different radio stations that kind of cover an area, if you know what I mean. So you have to take that into account, okay? So because if you want your little story, that's just a small story, it might not be that important or interesting to the whole town or the whole city. A big, massive station isn't going to be likely to cover you, okay? So you need to take that into account. Make a list of all the outlets that you want to contact. The next step after that, step 4, is finding the right people to get in contact with, okay? You need to go onto websites, social media pages, all that, and you'll be able to find either contact form or they'll give you instructions on how to get in touch if you have a news story, okay? Like I said, it could be a contact form on the website. It could be an email address of your journalist to contact. It could be sending a message via social media or Twitter, any of that. You can do, it's going to be different for every outlet. I have checked on different outlets. It's always different. So you just need to go and do some research on how to contact the right people then from the outlets you want to contact. Step 5 is once you have a list of all that, the outlets and how to contact them, you need to write an email pitch to send your press release along with. Okay, so your email pitch should include a personalized greeting to the journalist that you want to reach out to. It needs to have eye-catching subject line to stand out. Okay, so you have to think like these outlets and these journalists are going to get heaps of potential news stories every day. They're going to get heaps of emails. So you need to stand out with your email headline. Number 3 is, why should the recipient or the journalist be interested? Or more importantly, why should their audiences be interested? What are the key points to your story? Why do they need to act fast to cover the story? And where can they get more information about the story? And then it also needs to include your press release as an attachment. Okay, so that's everything you need to include in how you reach out. Next step is be prepared to follow up with the journalists, okay? These journalists are busy, okay? And just like anything you want done with a busy person, you have to be prepared to reach out, okay? So if they don't respond back to you in a day or whatever, a couple of days, you can just simply reach back out with a different subject line, maybe just checking in to see if they received your last email or your press release, see if they need more information. And you could probably follow up with them a couple times, but with a slightly different headline to your email or subject line that is not hassling them, but it's just like a gentle reminder to check in with them. Or sometimes you might have a contact in your social media that might know a journalist in these news outlets, and that's a good way to get in. Okay, step 7 is responding to journalists and preparing for the interview. Okay, when the journalist responds to you, you need to take into account their time. They're very busy usually, so it's important to respond quickly to them. And if they want to organize an interview, it's really important to be fully prepared and have all the information about the story, which you should know if you're the business owner. But just be prepared. If they want to do an interview, it'll be quick. They'll have a lot of questions, and you have to be prepared to not waste their time, because if you do this right, and you can then build a relationship with these reporters where they'll reply back to you if for future stories, and they know you're legitimate and trustworthy, and then you have interesting stories. Okay, so that's really cool as well. Finally is sharing your media coverage. Okay, so once you get articles and news stories covering you and you get all this press, whether it be in a newspaper or magazine or on TV, it's very important to record that press coverage so you can use it on your website, your social media pages, your emails, all that stuff. Okay, marketing materials. That's really the whole point of this. You don't just want to let the stories go and then they get forgotten. You want to get all this press, put it all together somewhere that potential customers can see all this, and that builds trust. Okay, it could be when a potential customer goes to your website, you've got a press coverage section, because that's giving legitimacy to your business. Okay, so if all these magazines and newspapers and TV stations are covering you over the years, people think, oh, your business is very trustworthy. The exact same thing with potential staff members and team members that you're trying to attract the good talent. Okay, they're going to want to work for a place that is trustworthy and credible, because that's a big risk for them coming on board with the massage business. So having all this stuff is going to help. That's it. That's all the steps. I hope you took notes, and if you need to go back through the video, go back through it, grab your notes. And this was just some notes from part of my Massage Therapist Success Academy, where I teach massage therapists all about marketing methods, and this was just part of the training. So I hope it helped. And if you have any comments, please put them below. I love to hear any feedback, or maybe you've got a lot of press before for your massage business, or you've got any tips that you can share, and I'd love to hear it. And I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.